Everybody's muted
Okay.
though.
All right.
There you go.
All right,
Everybody's
guys.
unmuted.
Well, hey, you're watching Amateur Radio Roundtable. Maybe you're watching it. Can anybody verify that, on my YouTube dashboard now, I don't even see any video, but I think it's working.
53 people watching. It's streaming.
Okay. So we're streaming. Okay. You're watching Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's a show about ham radio and amateur radio. And would like to welcome you tonight if you're listening on shortwave on WBCQ on 7490. Would love to hear from you. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. And if you can, please hit that subscribe button. I don't know where it is right now. We're on something different tonight. I don't know if the subscribe button is showing up or not, but if it's showing up, please hit it. You'll notice that I'm in, I don't know where I am tonight, tell you the truth. I'm in somewhere green tonight. And what happened, our encoder obviously took a real big reconfiguration from a Windows update, and it was going to take longer to get it going tonight than we had time. So we're kind of using a little backup system, which works pretty good, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. So, we're trying that tonight, and let's see. Maybe I should go. Well, there we go. All right, so we're going to try to get through the show tonight. We're still going to talk about some of the things, and I don't know. I don't see Glenn here. I think I sent Glenn the link to get on the show, but maybe not. It's kind of unusual for Glenn not to be here. All right. Hey, join our Facebook group. It's just called W5KUB on Facebook. We've got about 13,000 members in that group, and we'd love to have you. It's just a great ham radio group there. So let's see if we can't just kind of get back to some normalcy here. And let's see. Let me bring in Rich and Alan. Okay. Yes, I'm learning it as I go right now tonight. How you doing? First of all, let's get Alan there. Alan, how you doing, man?
Hey, we're doing okay. Finally broke the week-long heat wave here in New Jersey. It was up over 100 degrees over the weekend and hot and humid and everything else, and finally broke that. So we're happy about that. And glad to be in here. I know I've been traveling the last couple of weeks, haven't been able to make it. So I'm glad I will make it in here today. And should be a good show.
Yeah, well, it's been hot here too. In fact, it's so hot here, when I turn the cold water on, it comes out warm. Now, man, it is, I think we've been up in 115 plus, feels like here this past week. So it's been tough, man. You're in New Jersey, and Rich is also in New Jersey. Rich?
Hey, before you go, there's a note in the chat to asking you to let Glenn in.
Glenn in. Okay, Glenn.
Glenn might be in the streaming app, and you got to let him in.
Let me look.
Yeah. So Glenn says, "Someone tell Tom to let me in."
There we go. Now I let him in. Right. Are you seeing this double click? Are you seeing it drag to reorder and thing pop? Hopefully you're not seeing that.
I don't see any of that. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So Glenn's here. Okay. We were talking to Rich. Let's get this thing back on track. Hey, Rich, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. Like Alan, I am very happy to be in a slightly cooler weather. As he said, 5-6 days of well over 90-degree heat and humidity in the same range, and it's been very, very uncomfortable here. And finally got a break from that today. Still not much of rain, which we need for gardens and stuff, but there's very little rain coming here. It seems there's a lot of rain that's coming through New Jersey, but it goes north of us, it goes south of us. We've got a little bit of, they call them mountains here, but they're hills, just to our west that seem to redirect a lot of the storms. So they miss us on the thunderstorms, but we don't get any rain as a result. So.
All right. Well, hey, keep safe up there. Try to stay cool. That's all I can say. It's been a hot one. All right, real quick. Glenn, come on in here, Glenn. How you doing, Glenn?
Am I here?
You're here, man. In fact, you look better here than you always look, man. I don't know what, this little app is going to do okay, I think. It just don't do all the little bells and whistles, but it's kind of sharp.
Yeah, as long as you let me in. I mean, I was really out there in limbo. I was, it's twilight zoning along, expecting to run into Rod Serling any minute.
Well, yeah, at the last minute, I don't have the video. Well, I may have the video. Well, we can't play the video right now. We're just going to have to kind of talk through this tonight, but that'll be okay. This will be mostly a talking show tonight. But I don't know if you saw the picture. I posted your new picture on Facebook tonight. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I did. Yeah, I saw that. You're still
where
using
you
the old picture. I sent you a new picture.
Well, yeah, I used the new one. Did you not see that?
No, that was the old picture.
No. Look at the face. Look at the face on the new picture.
It sure looked like the old one.
What?
It sure looked like the old one.
No. You're looking at the wrong thing.
All right, let's see.
I posted about you.
Okay, it's
soldering.
God, I must be getting old.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
All right. Well, too bad other people can't see it. Hey, go to our Facebook group. You'll see Glenn holding the soldering iron and showing how to do surface mount soldering, and you'll get a kick out of the way he's holding the iron there. You probably have seen it before.
Well, the interesting thing is, I came home and was trying to do a little bit the following day on something, and look what I did to my finger.
Wait a minute.
I did burn it.
Oh, man.
I grabbed the side. No, I grabbed the heat gun in the wrong place.
Oh, gee, that thing can get hot too, man.
You know, when you weren't paying attention, you just reach over and grab, and it's like, oops.
Yeah.
So,
Smells like chicken.
yep, sure did. Cats came running.
Okay. I'm telling people how to get on the chat room.
But no, it's all good. Waiting on a new bunch of parts because it turns out the board carriers we had were for 4x4 millimeter surface mount chips instead of 3x3s.
Yeah.
So I've got the new carriers in, but waiting on another couple chips to come in. But we're just going like gangbusters over on the other side of the lab, building stuff, getting ready for the new book that I'm hoping to get turned in by December.
Okay. Well, you can probably get with it and get that done, and
it's on schedule at this point. It's rolling along, but there's a lot of other stuff happening. I've got the presentation ready for Huntsville now. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun one.
Okay. All right. Well, good. And hey, man, we're getting close to Huntsville, so looking forward to seeing you down there. And I think Rich, my understanding, you guys probably won't make it this time.
Yeah, we're still a little COVID phobic. And,
okay, I got you.
Gonna.
All right. Well, let's do this. To try to get this show working and back on track here. Rich, let's just go and talk with you there, and let's talk about CQ for next month and tell us all about it, and I'll try to keep things going here. So go right ahead, Rich.
All righty. Well, our focus this month is going to be on youth, and let's see if try to get the cover in here. I got too much light going on, so
yeah, I can see it.
It's but this is the cover is VE3MGY. He is running. It looks dark because he has red light in his shack for long hours of contesting. It's less eye fatigue that way. He in this picture he's operating what he calls SO2C. Now, if you're a contester, you're probably familiar with SO2R, single operator, two radios. But this is SO2C. He was operating two contests at the same time. The CQ Worldwide RIDI 160 single sideband contest, which we have results on in this issue, and a RIDI contest. Two different complete station setups at the same time, running two different contests. That's pretty amazing. But our main focus is on youth. We start out with an article on the Yoda Camp, Youth on the Air camp in Ohio this year, written by two of the participants, KE8LQR and KE8RJU. So we get a first-person perspective on the Yoda Camp and all the things they did there. They had an amazing time. Then we've got Marty Lane, OH2BH, with a very interesting story, which we're calling A Boy and His Radio, a 21st Century War Story. This is about a Ukrainian ham and his family who had to hide in their basement for a month because of shelling. And his 12-year-old son had been given a little battery-powered radio, which was their only connection to the outside world. He used that constantly while they were in there. In the meantime, the dad was able to communicate with other hams and was setting up some emergency housing and stuff for the family in Finland. And it's a really amazing story of ham radio brotherhood and cooperation. The next story is called Another Boy, Another Radio, Same War. This is about an 8-year-old here in the U.S. who his dad is a ham and took his receiver out of the basement and brought it up into the dining room when the war in Ukraine broke out, so he could try to get some news directly from the area on shortwave, and caught his 8-year-old son's attention, who also started listening to local weather nets. This was tornado season, and he got really interested in that and decided to study for his ham license, which he did, and he very quickly went to extra. And it's been highlighted in the local newspaper. So it's a short story, but it's cool. It's a lot of fun about a young man who is going to be an active ham for a long time, I would guess. He's still 8 right now, but on August 1st, he turns 9. So we'll look forward to a lot from him. Also in our youth focus, we've got our Young Ham of the Year, who is, CQ is a co-sponsor of the Young Ham of the Year program. It's run by Amateur Radio Newsline. And we have a profile of this year's winner, who's Audrey McElroy, KM4BUN. And she was on our cover with her brother last year sometime. And then in that same general vein, we've got a report on the ARRL Foundation's scholarship grants, which have nearly doubled this year through incredible generosity of ARDC, Amateur Radio Digital Communications Foundation. They have increased their scholarships they now have 45 scholarships valued at $750,000. The total amount given away was over $900,000 in scholarships from a variety of sources, but the huge bulk of that is coming from ARDC. So there's a lot of support for young hams out there, and a good number of them as well. And my editorial even gets in on the topic with the question of how old is young? You'll have to read that to find out more. As we mentioned earlier when talking about the cover, we've got the results of the the CQ Worldwide 160 meter contest, which was held in the winter. Both sideband and CW results are in this issue. We have the announcement for the CQ Worldwide DX contest for this fall. Single sideband weekend is the last weekend in October, the 29th and 30th. And the CW weekend is Thanksgiving weekend here in the U.S., as it frequently is, the 26th and 27th of November. Good way to work off some of that excess turkey by exercising your fingers. After that, we get into a variety of different articles and kind of spotlighting the breadth of our hobby. We've got a club spotlight on a different kind of antenna party, collective antenna building. This is kind of a mix between a group kit build and an antenna party. Usually when you think of an antenna party, it's a whole bunch of people coming to one ham's house to help install an antenna. In this case, the hams all came to the meeting and built antennas, wire antennas, end-fed half waves, that they could all take home and install themselves. So really interesting story, so you can take the concept of a group kit build and extend it to antennas. Then our former QRP editor, Dennis Lazar, W4DNN, has an article on 800 megahertz QRP, globe-spanning ham radio QSOs from anywhere. So you didn't know 800 megahertz was a ham band, but it can be in a way, and he explains how. We've got two articles from Paul Signorelli, W0RW, on very different topics. One is a simple RF radiation detector. You can find it in your local supermarket or card shop. And another is a reminiscence on Mars operations during the Korean War. And, finally, among our features, we've got two other items. Rich Stiebel, W6APZ, you may remember him from a previous article about being an early engineer at Night Kit, or early in his career. It was how he started out, designing early CB transceivers and I think some ham gear for Night Kit. But this one's called A Shocking Experience. And it's interesting when the engineer finds a problem with the way something's set up, he can change it. And then we have a book review by K6BK of this is more of a shortwave listener book called QSL, How I Traveled the World and Never Left Home by Ronald Kenyon. Fascinating looking book and a great review of it. Among our columns, we've got all sorts of stuff as usual. Emergency Communications Editor K3PFW asks, are you ready? As we're heading into the heart of hurricane season and who knows what else, wildfires, floods, like in St. Louis today had 13 inches of rain, 2 hours or something like that. So readiness is always a topic, and training is included in that. Joe K0NEB has a piece called Work in Progress. He's in the process of building the KX Mini Paddle, which is an interesting kit. It's designed to attach directly to the front panel of an Elecraft KX2 or KX3. It's not an Elecraft product, but it's a third-party product. And a very interesting little kit that, of course, he goes through step by step how to put it together. Also in the world of kits is our QRP editor, K8SMA, is writing about the 4-state QRP group's 4S tuner, which is also a kit, and it's a QRP antenna tuner, lots of whistles on that. I don't know if it has bells and whistles, just whistles. In our homing in column this month, K0OV writes about the national and world ARDF contests, as well as training opportunities for upcoming competitions. Antennas editor, WA5VJB, has a piece on the all-important counterpoise. And VHF Plus editor N4DTF writes about a day in the life of a casual contester, as relating his experiences during the ARRL June VHF contest. And we've got a couple of forward-looking, well, back and forward-looking pieces from DX and awards. N200 in the DX column writes about DXing past, present, and future, and KI4 KWR and awards writes about the future of amateur radio awards. So a couple of think pieces there on how things are and are likely to be over the coming years. In our contesting column, N3QE writes about recent trends in computer-based contest logging and the most popular programs out there for contest logging. And finally, in our propagation column, Thomas Hood, NW7US, tells us what to expect from the bands in the month of August as we head toward the equinox in September. So that is a rundown of what to expect in the magazine, which should be in your hands very soon if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, we hope you will join us. We still have our subscription special going on. Just check it out on our website at www.cq-amateur-radio.com and get in on the subscription special, as well as books and DVDs and all sorts of other goodies. Calendars too. We're working on next year's. Tom?
All right. Well, hey, thanks a lot for that update. Sound like a lot of exciting things happening next month, and looking forward to reading about them. And by the way, your video looks just outstanding to me. I don't know how other people seeing it, but it's really nice and clear. And it looks like you moved upstairs.
I did. I'm in the coolest room in the house, because even though we broke the 90 plus temperatures, it's still pretty warm in the rest of the house. So the living room is the coolest room in the house.
I wish we could break the 90 plus in the other direction.
Huh.
It's been 100 every day for the last 2 weeks plus.
Wow.
It's crazy. I don't remember the last time it was this hot down here for this long.
Yeah, we've been in the upper 90s all week, but then over 100 on Saturday and Sunday. But
All right, Chris, thank you. Rich, I am so messed up tonight with
How
all,
many tries does he get?
with all the stuff going on here. Believe me, man. I'm trying to pull this thing together and make stuff work, man. And there's all kinds of people in the chat room telling me they can't get the video on W5KUB, and I understand that. I'm not sure why, because
It's not fair because you're not encoding it.
No, I am. I'm encoding to YouTube. And YouTube is just embedded on W5KUB. In fact, I'm watching it over here on W5KUB.
Yeah, I'm watching the YouTube, but it's not on W5KUB.
Well, let me repeat myself. We always stream to YouTube. And on W5KUB, it's just an embedded YouTube player. So anything that you can watch on YouTube, you can watch on that YouTube player right there. So
well,
I'm watching it on W5KUB here. I don't know why some people can't get it. I think Alan's like getting it here.
Well, you got to remember, I'm in wireless Mississippi, so it'll probably work in about 10 years.
Yeah. Well, again, Rich, thank you for putting up with all this mess tonight, and maybe next time we'll have things worked out.
One of the great things about doing stuff with technical people when the technology isn't doing what it's supposed to, as you mentioned earlier, it's an opportunity for all of us to learn at the same time. And when you're having trouble with technology and you have technological people working at it, it's not a matter of throwing up your hands and saying, "Oh no, this isn't working. What are we going to do?" You say, "Oh no, this isn't working. How do we fix it?" And we all learn from your learning at the same time. And that's one of the essences of ham radio, is all of us working together, learning together, and sharing our knowledge, and even getting through difficulties together. That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, and I can fix this. It's just that it was showtime when everything hit the fan. So that's my problem, and we could have got it going in 45 minutes or an hour, but I didn't feel like we should do that. So, hey, again, thank you, and hopefully you'll tune in to Huntsville when we're on up here, and
I will do my
Hey, we're going to be running this system here at Huntsville because this has some advantages over our high dollar encoder. This little thing here has some advantages. For instance, you guys could have just as easily come in, your picture could have easily come in on your smartphone tonight. That could have been what I'm seeing here. I don't know if you're on a smartphone or not. But so say, for instance, the problem we've had at Huntsville is it's a very large place, and we have to roll that big old cart around. And when the crowds are there, we can't get through the crowds. And it's just, it's difficult. Now, hey, with this system here, I can bring you in just like you right there. Oh, you can have your smartphone, and you can be a roving camera with your little smartphone walking around in there. And I can bring you up on this app right here and just switch you in or out, or, add you into with other people. So this is going to have some advantages to it. And it might turn out to be a much better thing for, that type of event. All right. So Tim Toe says both chat rooms are still working. Kathy's been working in there the last 35 minutes trying to figure out how to turn YouTube off, YouTube chat. But
yeah, I think the Melon app turns it on because it mirrors the YouTube chat on the Melon app page.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, and it may mirror. Well, let's see. Facebook doesn't have a chat. It seems like to me it can bring up multiple chat rooms. We can stream, I think, to multiple places here easily. We could be streaming to Facebook at the same time we're streaming to YouTube. But anyway, hey, we're going to make it through
good night,
tonight.
everybody.
Good night, Rich.
Yeah, Rich.
Thanks a lot for joining us here.
Stay cool,
My
man.
pleasure. Thanks.
The thing with dealing with all of this technology, though, is you got to learn when to throw all the cooks out of the kitchen.
Well, yeah, I guess. Let's see. You are who? You're Glenn. So if I click right there, I can put you full screen, man. Hey, that's kind of neat right there. So
Yeah,
That's
and you
kinda
got
cool.
a wider picture with this service than you do the other one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is. I have no idea. I think we're running. I think this is 720p. I don't know
Well, you're
what.
probably just seeing, the raw output of my camera, whereas the Zoom trims it down because you normally can't see both sides of my desk.
Well, let's see what I can see with Alan. Let me flip to Alan here. Well, I have a pretty wide picture there too.
You see the mess of my room over here, and
Yeah, I can see some paper over there to your right. Yeah, man. Okay. All right. So, hey, we're going to get through this thing. And I'm in the green room. All studios have a green room. I'm in the green room tonight. Okay. Hey, let's talk a couple things here. We were going to talk tonight about the surface mount. And, Glenn, we can have to show that video next week. But we can talk a little about it. But let's talk with Alan because several people commented in Facebook about, I posted a little short video of some of my observations on our tracker. And I used the spectrum analyzer to look at the output of the tracker. The output of the tracker is on 14 megs, that's 20 meters. Your second harmonic would be what's that, 31, 20, it'd be 31 megs. And then the third harmonic would be about, I don't know, 40 something megs. And so typically we run this tracker, it's only 10 milliwatts, so it's not very powerful at all. So typically we run that tracker at about 10 milliwatts, and we come right out of that little frequency synthesizing chip. It's an SI5351. We come straight out of it to an antenna. The SI5351 is a 50 ohm output. We typically don't use any type blocking capacitor there. Because we're not feeding, well, I don't know what we're not feeding. Maybe Alan can tell us that. So anyway, but I started playing around with it, and the video that I posted shows the fundamental frequency. We're running 10 dBm, which is 10 milliwatts. And then it looked like the second harmonic was down much lower, I don't remember what it was. It was probably below 0. And then the third harmonic was probably about the same. But then I put a capacitor in series with the antenna. I put in somewhere like a 0.01 or a 0.1 microfarad capacitor in series with the antenna. And I saw the output increase just a little bit. Before, instead of 10 milliwatts, I think we had like 9 or 9.5 milliwatts. When I put the capacitor in there, I saw the output was a full 10 milliwatts. And when I dialed in the second harmonic and third harmonic, I didn't even see it on the scale. I mean, it was pretty much gone. So, Alan, you want to talk about why or how maybe that even happened? And hey, just one thing. Somebody told me, and I guess it's true, the outputs of all the harmonics, let's see how they all add up to the, what am I trying to say, the power. If you can reduce the harmonics, that power I think goes into the fundamental frequency maybe. Anyway, talk to us, Alan.
So, well, yeah. So, I mean, that can be true. It's not universally true. And, you know, in the outset, adding a series capacitor shouldn't, in theory, if everything was ideal, shouldn't do anything to reduce the harmonic content. Because in a sense, one way to think about it, if you add a series capacitor, you're changing the impedance potentially that the amplifier is seeing. But the likelihood of what's going on here is that the amplifier, and I haven't seen the schematic of your amp, the amplifier is likely sensitive to whatever the load impedance is. And just the fact that you change the load impedance, you change the harmonic content of the harmonics being produced or the distortion being produced by the amplifier. And in this sense, it made your output look more sinusoidal, which means that you're taking away some of the harmonics. And so making that more sinusoidal, the power is going into that fundamental and not into the harmonics. But just strictly adding, if you just had something that had some harmonic distortion, you add a series coupling capacitor to, between whatever is generating that signal and the load, that in and of itself, in general, isn't going to reduce the harmonics. I think it's really more of a complex interaction that we're seeing in your case, that you're changing the impedance seen by the output of your amplifier to make it either a better tuned circuit for the fundamental frequency, but you're certainly just changing what that amplifier is seeing. So, because it's really a bit counterintuitive that adding a series coupling cap would reduce the higher frequency content, and anything, if doing anything, it would reduce the lower frequency content. So I think it really just comes down to you're just changing the impedance that the amplifier is seeing. And that's causing a change in the wave shape of the amplifier, therefore the distortion products that it's producing. So I think that's, like I said, it's not an exact answer of what's going on, but just from observation, it's what's going on, right?
I've got one piece that will probably let Alan finish and find the entire answer.
Yeah.
Tom, you're taking the SI5351 direct to the antenna, correct?
That's right.
Oh, yes. That's a square wave output, yeah.
It's square wave. It's a square wave. So that's
square wave's going to generate all kinds of harmonics.
Yeah, but the square wave by itself is going to be primarily odd harmonics, the third, the fifth, the seventh. Okay. When you have even harmonic content, that generally means that you can think of it that the duty cycle is changing of the waveform. Think about a sine wave or a square wave spends as much time above zero as it does below zero. That's kind of a balanced duty cycle, right? 50% duty cycle. When you add odd harmonic content, it means you're spending more time above or below the baseline. So you might be getting something that's kind of almost looks, in a gross sense, like a full wave rectified signal. That would be a really gross sense of, a lot of even harmonic content. But just the fact that it's a square wave output driving a reactive load, it probably has got a pretty ugly looking waveform. Okay. And by adding the coupling capacitor, you're just making it a different shape ugly.
Yeah, okay. I've noticed in the past years that the third harmonic sometimes it always was much stronger than the second.
Yeah, that's because a square wave will always have, it's fundamentally a perfect square will only have odd harmonics. The even harmonics only come in when there's a slight amount of duty cycle distortion, where your waveform isn't balanced above and below. It'll have a little bit of a different shape on the positive peaks versus the negative peaks. That's kind of your indication you've got some even harmonic content. Odd harmonic content tends to be balanced. Okay.
Well, the configuration or the setup we had, now the SI5351 states it's a 50 ohm output.
Yeah.
And of course, my spectrum analyzer is a 50 ohm input. So
yeah, but you've got a couple of flying leads there.
Yeah,
and things like that,
I got some flying leads in there for sure. Yeah.
So that's all part of it. And
yeah.
But at the end of the day, the likelihood is that it's going to look even different when it's looking into your antenna, because the antenna isn't going to be a perfect 50 ohms either.
Oh yeah.
So whatever you see on the spectrum analyzer in that environment, with whatever impedance is being produced by the clip leads and everything else, that's going to be a different impedance that it's going to see when it's feeding the antenna when it's at 50,000 feet. So
well, that's a good point. I guess to look at that, once it's hooked to an antenna, I guess I could take the spectrum analyzer with just a little short antenna or something on it and still look at the harmonics.
Yeah, if you can get the antenna hanging in the air or something like that, and then just pick up what you're getting off of that antenna, that'll give you a better picture of what it's radiating. Because even if you're putting all of the harmonic energy into the antenna might be reflecting a lot of that back because of the impedance of the antenna. So that whatever gets radiated might be more of what you want. But that's the best way to see really what you're doing, in that situation. So
yeah. Well, I'll definitely. There's some good points there. I'll definitely check into that and do a little bit different testing, like you suggested there.
Now, the only thing I did notice when I was watching the video, there were a couple of probably adjustments and tweaks you can make on the spectrum analyzer to get some better results. And I didn't know if you wanted to spend 5 or 10 minutes doing a little spectrum analyzer 101. I could share a spectrum analyzer screen and show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, why don't you do that? That'd be great.
Okay, so let me let's see if this works. You might have to enable the share.
Yeah, well, you came up. It looks like another camera. I'll just say show on screen. So there it is, right there.
There you go. Okay.
I kind of like the way this works.
Yeah. All right. So this is just let me actually turn on a signal source here. I'm actually using, believe it or not, the spectrum analyzer I'm using is a nice Tektronix spectrum analyzer, but the signal source I'm using is a tiny SA, because that's what I had up here. So let me go change this mode to switch the output on the low. Let's set the output to be at, say, 20 megahertz and turn it on.
Do you have any idea of the output of that?
Oh, it's an ugly looking square wave. So
no, but I mean, do you it could? I don't know what's in the tiny SA, but the output power.
Yeah, it's actually I've got it set to let's see, minus 15 dBm. I've also got it going through an attenuator and a long cable. So so what I purposely wanted to set it up to be in the neighborhood of about minus 40. Because I just wanted to kind of have it low, because I want to kind of illustrate a couple of things here. So on a spectrum analyzer, there are really kind of 4 main controls on a spectrum analyzer. There is obviously the center frequency, which is right here, in this case, 20 megahertz. There's the frequency span, which is the range from one end to the other here. So I'm looking at a 5 megahertz span in this case. 20 megahertz center frequency, looking at a 5 megahertz span. The resolution bandwidth, or RBW as we call it up here, that's effectively the filter, that is being used. So any signal is going to, basically, it's how much power is in that particular 10 kilohertz of bandwidth. And then the fourth one is the reference level, or ref lev. The reference level is essentially what power level is represented at the top of the screen. And the one that a lot of people don't think about is properly setting the reference level. Because if you look at this signal right here is peaking at about minus 40 dBm. My reference level set to 0 dBm. So it means I've got 40 dB. That's a factor of 10,000, right? Power level in my spectrum analyzer measurement is 10,000 times lower than it could be, right? Remember, there's a logarithmic scale. Each of these is a power of 10. So I'm 10,000 times lower in power than I could measure here. And what the effect of that is that it really reduces or degrades, I should say, the signal to noise ratio that you can measure here. Because if I look at this signal's only 10, 20, 30, 40 dB above the noise floor. Okay. But watch what happens if I change my reference level down, say by 10 dB. So now I'm at minus 10 dBm reference level. Okay. My signal's still at minus 40, but now look, I've got 50 dB of dynamic range available. Let me knock that down again. Okay, now reference level at minus 20, it didn't really change too much, because what's happening here is when you adjust the reference level in a spectrum analyzer, the spectrum analyzer you can think of as like a receiver. The signal comes in, it's going to go through a mixer to get converted into an IF and all processed like that. But there's an optimum signal range that you want to put that signal into that mixer. So when you're adjusting the reference level, it's trying to optimize that and not overdrive that mixer, and also give you a good signal level into the mixer. You can see if I bring this up to plus 20 dBm, the signal's still showing at minus 40, but you can see I've got very little dynamic range available. Because if you look down here, if you see at the bottom, it says attenuator setting is 38 dB. Because it's putting a 38 dB of attenuation before the signal even gets to the mixer, so we don't overdrive the mixer. When I bring that reference level back down again, you see that mixer came down. I went to 10 dBm. My mixer's now my attenuator's at 28. I go to 0 dBm, my attenuator's at 18. If I go to minus 10, my attenuator's only 10 dB. So the lower I can make that attenuator, the more dynamic range I have available. Now, this particular generator or analyzer won't automatically set the attenuator to anything below 10 dB. Okay, so if I go lower in reference level, if I go to say minus 20 or minus 30, the attenuator is still 10, so my dynamic range is kind of still stuck. But I do have the ability, and most spectrum analyzers give you that the ability to go in and manually adjust that attenuator. And if I take that last 10 dB out, I've gained a bit more dynamic range. So I noticed when you were doing, the reason I bring this up, because I noticed when you were doing your video that your signal level was only peaking up about halfway up the screen. I couldn't really tell from the screen where your reference level was. Okay. So that's going to affect, so when you went over and looked at, say, the second harmonic and it wasn't there, well, the fundamental was only about 10 or 20 dB or so above the noise floor, 30 dB above the noise floor. So and the second harmonic was only about 10 dB above the noise floor. So when you went over to look for it, it might have only gone down by 10 dB, but it was already buried in the noise floor and you couldn't see it. Whereas if you adjusted the reference level down, you might have still seen, been able to kind of unbury that thing out of the noise and see it. Okay. So that's the reason I bring that up. The other thing,
Alan, I've got two different spectrum analyzers. One is an HP where I set that top line. What do you call it? The reference level.
Yep.
Where I set that. Now the spectrum analyzer I use in that video you saw, you don't set the reference line at the top.
Okay.
It just measures, I guess, there's 0 at the bottom and it goes upwards, 10, 20, 30.
Yeah, but there's got to be, there should be some way of setting, essentially, if nothing else, setting the attenuation value.
Oh yeah, I can set attenuation in there.
Okay.
And I even put in a external 20 dB 20 dBm pad,
okay,
or 20 dB pad in there. But yeah, it reads different than the other spectrum scope.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm just trying to help you get the most dynamic range out of it. And another way to get a better dynamic range is start reducing the resolution bandwidth, because the more you adjust the resolution bandwidth, the further down that noise floor will go too. So you can start seeing signals that are buried way down in the noise. So for example, if I take a look at this, if I set my stop frequency to say 100 megahertz here, now I can actually see, there's the fundamental when I start seeing some of the harmonic content. Whereas if I had my RBW set back to where it was, I can't see that harmonic content because it's buried down below the noise floor.
Well, I need to look at this. This spectrum analyzer there is a little older, and I'm a little disappointed. I had a much higher end spectrum analyzer that I could it was wide enough in bandwidth where I could see the different harmonics.
Okay.
On this one, it seems like it's so narrow that I only can see the one, and I have to key in, the frequency to see the others.
So you can't set a wide enough span to see it.
Right.
Okay.
The span, I don't think the span will go that wide on that one. Now, I'm not
Okay.
sure about the HP. I have to look
Okay.
at it.
Okay. All right. Because like I said, these are little tricks to be able to see signals buried in the noise. One is keeping a reference level and attenuator set appropriate for the signal and going to narrow resolution bandwidth. So you can see as I go narrower and narrower in RBW, now I can now start to see this harmonic that's sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if I throw a marker on this peak, let me throw a second marker on here and move that over to the next peak right there. So we can see that one. In fact, I'm not even sure that's the same a harmonic, because this guy is sitting at 20 and this guy here is sitting at, let's see, looks like he's sitting at 28.75. So he's not a harmonic. Let's go look at a much wider span
There's
here.
a couple more in here, I assume.
Yeah. So this guy is probably the second. This guy's probably the harmonic. Let's move that over there. So yeah, that guy's one of the harmonics. So he's at 25 meg. So, but let's have you
looked at the output waveform of that tiny SA?
I haven't looked at it on the scope yet, but let's see. I'm over here at 40. So there's the second harmonic right there. Okay, so that's the second harmonic. Let's bring my stop frequency up to say 200 megahertz here just to see. And all right, so now if we go and take a look at that one, so this guy is at 60 megahertz. Okay, so that's the third harmonic right there.
And it's stronger. It's stronger than the second.
Yeah, because like I said, because I'm pretty sure the output of this is close to a square wave. Closer to a square wave. So I can see I've definitely got the third harmonic, but I don't really. The seventh would be somewhere right out about here, and I don't really see that.
I see a little one poking up there right every now and then, right there where your mouse is.
But this is the kind of thing, like I said, if you had your RBW set wide, okay, you wouldn't even see that the harmonic was there.
Yeah.
Okay, because lowering the resolution bandwidth drops the noise floor, and you'll start to see these things that would normally be buried in that noise floor. Now, the penalty you pay with most spectrum analyzers is that a narrow resolution bandwidth will result in a very long sweep time. Okay, the analyzer I have here has got some tricks that don't really pay that same penalty. But you might find that if I set, a 500 hertz RBW or a 300 hertz RBW on a swept analyzer, this same sweep might take many seconds to occur. Okay, but these are the kind of things that you do to kind of optimize when you're using a spectrum analyzer to get the best dynamic range and see things that might otherwise be buried in the noise. So get the reference level set right, the attenuator set right, and the resolution bandwidth set right.
Well, that's a good demo there.
So
yeah, I like it.
But yeah, so anyway, I hope that came through.
So one of the next things that we'll be doing, let's see if I can figure out now how to. Let's see, gotta figure out how to do this. Alan, let's see if I turn that off. Okay. Nope. Maybe I turn that one up. Well.
What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, I'm trying to get his screen off, and I'm trying to get you guys back on the show here.
Okay, well, it looks like we're seeing all three of us side by side here now.
Yeah, you are. And
but I think the YouTube stream is still showing. There you go.
Well, yeah, the YouTube's just delayed. That's all.
There we go. Yeah, okay. Well, that's cool. Hey, one of the next things I do is I'm working on a little 100 milliwatt amplifier again. The reason I'm doing it is, I don't know if anybody has noticed this or not, but the past week, I think we've had, I'm hearing that we've had a major solar storm or something that was pretty violent, and it has really affected the pico balloons. We're very, very low in power, 10 milliwatts, and it has been just wiping out communications for the past 4, 5, 6 days. Even today, it's not better. I thought maybe we were having a transmitter problem, but I've got some friends that have a balloon up near us, and they're both acting the same way. You'll completely lose connectivity with this guy for 3 or 4 hours right in the middle of the day, whereas this guy may work or anyway. So I can see that a little bit extra power might be helpful. I threw together a little breadboard amplifier over here, and it looked pretty good. Our solar voltage is going to vary from maybe 3.3 to 4.5 volts, depending on our cells that we use and so forth. But down around 3.3 volts, which is probably about the lowest that we would run, I'm seeing about 30, 35 milliwatts. As the voltage gets up closer to about 4, we peak at around 100 milliwatts. So I guess depending on the amount of sun that the solar cells pick up, this thing may run anywhere from 30 to 100 milliwatts. Now, I think even 30 milliwatts will give you quite an advantage over 10 milliwatts, to tell you the truth. So I'm looking at that. Now, this is where I really need to be able to look at the harmonic radiation adders, particularly if I go with a 100 milliwatt transmitter there. So probably going to require, building up a low pass filter or something there to filter out those harmonics there.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, so that'll be next to do, and we'll probably be talking about the little amplifier we built up. It's only got about 5 parts in it. Very simple. Got a N-channel MOSFET and a couple resistors, I guess, for biasing, and then a capacitor for input and output, and basically that's it. So we'll be talking a little about that on the show probably over the next weeks, and maybe we'll get into some filter design, and Alan, we'll get you to help critique and help us to improve any filters we might build.
Okay.
We want them to be very small. We want them to be less than a gram.
Okay.
So that's achievable. I have wound some inductors here using a drinking straw. Maybe a drinking straw, maybe a 1/4 inch long. It's a little less than a 1/4 inch in diameter, and winding some number 36 wire around it, and using some formulas and some websites to calculate the approximate inductance, number of turns and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, might get away with just doing a tuned load in the drain of the MOSFET. We're just doing an LC tank circuit that's resonant at your desired frequency.
Oh, okay. Well, I hadn't even thought about that. So that's something that I really want to discuss with you. So you're thinking an LC circuit might just clear that up?
Yeah, if you an LC tuned circuit as a tuned load, that should kind of naturally give you less gain at anything but your fundamental.
And now that just goes on the output, right? The RF output?
Yeah, because it sounds like what you described as a simple common source, common source amplifier.
Yeah,
You're just taking the output from the drain, and if the load of that drain is a tuned circuit, is an LC tank circuit that's resonant at your desired frequency, and your antenna is reasonably resonant at that desired frequency, you should have very little gain at the harmonic frequencies. And that'd be a good place to start. So.
Well, I think the last filter I built maybe this past year, and it looked like it had some fairly good results, was just a T. It was 2 inductors with a capacitor in the center. I guess that's kind of like your LC, but it's got an extra L to it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to do it. So it's just by making some kind of a tuned load, can more naturally reject the higher order harmonics. So.
All right, well, we're going to hire you to help us out with figuring that out and getting it right there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I also got a new toy to talk about.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's see it. Let's look at that.
Yeah. So this is the new toy I just picked up here. This is made by Baumatech out of Germany, and it's just what does he call it? The Baumatech. Let's see what he's calling it here. The Baumatech. What's the name of it? The TP3 Ultra Compact Twin Paddle. Okay. And just to give you an idea of the size, I'll stick it in the palm of my hand here so you can kind of see how big it is. But really, really well made. Anodized aluminum, four magnets on the back that are nice and strong. So if you, I've got a little piece of metal with some rubber on the bottom that I'll snap it down to. Otherwise, you can just hold it in your hand. If you look at it, what looks like those little springs in the center. They're actually not springs. They're actually the electrical connections to, the 1/8 inch plug. Okay, there really are no physical springs in this design. What he's got, you can see the two levers kind of cross over each other, and I got it set to be pretty close, but they cross over each other. The contacts are up on the kind of the front half here, okay, and then there's actually a lead screw in the back with a magnet that opposes a magnet that is on the little lever arm. And how close you put those magnets together determines effectively your spring force. Okay.
So the magnets basically you're holding the thing apart.
Exactly. So, and the way you adjust it on the bottom, there are little set screws, little Allen key set screws. You can see 4 of them right there next to the magnets. And once you let go of those set screws, you can adjust, like the lead screws on this side are going to set the contact spacing, and then the lead screws on this side will adjust the magnets in or out to determine effectively your actuation force. But this thing is, like I said, really tiny. I bought it to kind of go, portable operating, but the action on it is really, really nice. And the guy did a fantastic job, designing this thing. A guy named Marcus, I forget his call sign.
That's so cool.
Tech out of Germany. But I ordered it. Took about 2.5 weeks to get here or so, and a little pricey. It was about $150, but it's really, really well made. So pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so hey, I just tried to kick. You got 3 camera shots coming in here. I don't know why. Okay. You got your video plus, I guess. I don't know. Let's see what this is. You've got this one. Well, that looks like nothing. And you got this one. That looks like nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's us side by side, and then you on one side, and Glenn and I on top of each other now.
So, but you're showing up as a camera shot, and it's like
that's us.
I tried to kick that off, but it didn't seem to want to do it.
Okay.
Have you got your share still turned on?
No. What I'm seeing now, and I think what YouTube is seeing, is right now you're on the left and top to bottom, and then Glenn and I are on top of each other on the right.
Right. Yep. But see, over on the left side, I have a list of all the camera shots where if I click on them, I bring in, for instance, I can bring you in full screen, or I can bring Glenn in full screen. But I have 2 more. I have 2 more for you. Here's you full screen.
Okay.
And then I've got another camera shot for you. But
that's all 3 of us again.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can't seem to do anything with it. I hit kick and it didn't do anything. Anyway, I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I figured it out.
I was like, this platform works well. I think the shared video, I think, works well. Folks in the chat said that the spectrum analyzer came up great. So I think the sharing of content is streaming better and smoother with this app. The only thing I wish is I could have a virtual background so I don't see the mess in my ham shack here. So.
In fact, I'm supposed to be able to have virtual background here, green screen, and I just tried to turn it on a minute ago, and I didn't quite be successful.
Okay.
I think they've got it for the host. I think the guest logins. I don't think they have. I don't think they have.
If I do the pull up thing on this for my
do you
camera,
have a menu? Do you have a menu over on the right side?
Yeah, the only menu I have for video input is to select the camera and to select the resolution. I can't do anything else. And it's a menu it's along the bottom on the Melon app. It's not on the side.
Yeah, it's something interesting going on. Someone told me in the chat room that I had the ticker going across the top and it said North Carolina. So I go up here to menu. I click on the 4 little dots. The little tab says menu comes up, where I would go to turn it off. But when I go over to click on menu, it disappears. And
Oh,
so I,
oh, it's funny. I do bring up a green screen and a thing where I can enable a green screen and
okay,
have a virtual background, but I don't have a green screen, so it's not going to work for me. So,
okay. Oh, I got you. You're talking like Zoom lets you. I think Zoom lets you bring something in without a green screen, don't they?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Although I
Oh,
guess I could try. It says screen. You could do either a green screen or a blue screen.
right. Right.
So it would have let me do it if I had a green screen, but I don't have a green.
Well, I see a green wall behind you, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that would be enough to do that. If I
Yeah.
let's just say we want to play with it. Let's see
Let's
what
play
happens
with
if
it.
I
See.
enable it.
Yeah.
So
See
if
if
I
you can
enable
enable it.
that,
It's. I don't think it's got enough intensity to really work back here, but
yeah, yeah, and it's probably not the right color green. So
yeah,
okay,
that's interesting. Okay.
I'll just
All
turn
right.
it.
So, all right, let's do this real quick, and then we'll be back. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Let's see. Back. That's interesting. Text video. Okay. I just found out how to get there. All right, let's do this. Let's run a quick video here. And I've lost it. Oh, here we go. And then we'll be right back. Let's see if this runs.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
With a powerful and high-quality Icon base station, easily cut through the pileups and get that contesting edge. Our popular IC705 portable, the IC7300, and the IC7610 SDR transceivers are the clear choice for DXers and contesters across the globe. The IC705 is a perfect transceiver for hams who enjoy both the great indoors and outdoors. This base station provides features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package. It covers HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters, and is weighing in at just under 2 pounds. The IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed expectations. This innovative HF transceiver digitizes RF before various stages, and it reduces the generated inherent noise in different IF stages. This is a radio that changed the way entry-level HF is designed. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out faint signals in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The ICOM 7610 is a great sampling, software-defined radio that has changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receivers, and dual digital select. For more information, visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios. All right, we're back. You know, this little app here has some features that are kind of pretty nice. Actually, I may try to see if I can figure out the little workarounds to make things work. For instance, you know, right now I can't patch the telephone calls into it where the audio is going to go both ways. I could work on that. Another thing, let's see, I can only have up to six remote connections on here, so I can't really open it up for everybody in the world to connect with. But it's got some neat little switching capabilities, and I think it looks pretty good. Did we lose Glenn? Glenn's still there?
Well,
Let's see. Glenn, Alan. No,
I see you. I don't see Glenn anymore.
I think Glenn dropped off. Glenn dropped off.
Okay.
So anyway, okay, so maybe he'll be back. We were going to talk a little about his soldering. He came over to do some surface mount soldering, and there he is. He's coming back right now. All right, Glenn, where'd you go?
Yeah, my browser decided to close.
Yeah, well, you need to pay the browser company.
It's free.
Well, I don't know. I do it. Yeah. All
I
right.
don't know. Chrome has been a royal, you know what, the past couple weeks. I'm about ready to switch to another browser.
Yeah. Well, it sometimes it does funny things with me too, and I don't know. I like Chrome, but I think it's got some problems sometimes here. All right. Well, we got Alan in here. Says let's see, was it Alan? No, Earl. Oh no, wait a minute. Who said it? That was a camper bug. Good clarity. That was Clifton said good clarity picture. I guess the picture is okay. It's a 720p. And there you go. He left us again. I don't know. I don't know. He left us.
Trying to pick a different browser.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if have you seen any of the folks that some of the other YouTubers, ham radio YouTubers, have talked about this $60 laptop that you can get from Micro Center.
I saw it talked about.
Yeah.
They said it worked pretty good for ham radio, but
yeah, I went and I picked up two of them.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to have one that I could bring down to the my workbench down in the basement, and then I also wanted to have one for my wife to use for some knocking around stuff. And for $60, it's actually pretty good.
So tell us about it. I may want to order me one or two or 5 or 10. I mean, what kind of RAMs it got in it, and what kind of processor? They got an Intel processor?
It's an Intel Celeron, 1.1 gigahertz. It's not going to run any major software that requires. If you're doing anything with streaming video, it wouldn't work that right. It would work fine for surfing the web, maybe watching some video or doing emails and that type of thing. But anything that requires any real computing power would probably bring it to his knees pretty quick. But I've actually, that same application I was using to run my spectrum analyzer that I shared earlier, I actually ran that on it, okay, which is pretty amazing that it actually worked. But it's running Windows 10 Professional EDU or educational version. Because it's really kind of designed for students. It's a $60 laptop for students. So it doesn't have a ton of storage. I forget how much RAM it has, but in terms of, it doesn't have a hard disk. It had some solid state flash memory to use as a hard drive. And you want it's like a 65 gig of open space. So it's not a ton of space. You're not going to be storing a pile of files and videos and pictures and things like that on it. But if you're just going to run like a logging program, or you're going to run WSJTX, FLDG, run FT8, things like that on it, it works fine for that. It's got 2 USB ports. And the other thing that's really sold a lot of the ham radio folks on it is that the charging port is 12 volts.
It's what? 12 volt?
12 volts.
Okay.
So you can charge it, with, and run it off the same power supply system that you use for your shack. You don't have to, you can still, it comes with a charger, of course, but the fact that it can be charged off at 12 volts, you just make yourself an adapter up and plug it right onto your 12
So
volt.
instead of a regular laptop supply, 28 volt or whatever it is, it's just straight 12 volts.
Straight 12 volts. So if you want to bring something, if you got a large battery you're using to go out to field day or something like that to run everything off of, you can run this laptop on it as well.
Well, that's cool. I may, I need to look for the link on it. I may order one just to play with it. I mean,
if you have a Micro Center near you, it was $59, $59.95 or whatever at Micro Center. Other places you can get it, we're charging a little bit more for it. But like I said, I walked away with 2 of them for $130 after tax. So it's pretty amazing.
Well, heck, I may just have to order one in the morning. You got me. See, people show me this kind of stuff like Glenn. Every time he shows me something, I have to buy one.
Well, it's a two-way street because I had to go buy me a brand new LCD microscope after visiting your place.
Well, I saw that. Hey, did you probably got one that's a little bit better than mine. Did you get the 8-inch screen or something?
Yeah, I did get the same brand, but I got the 8-inch screen. It's nice. It's like a 1600 times LCD scope. It's got the video and still shot capability. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. And
what kind did you get, Glenn?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a link, or what kind did you get? Where'd you get it?
Shoot, it's the and whatever. Tom's gonna go get us the words.
I'll
Otherwise,
get
I'll walk across the room.
Yeah, that's something I don't have yet. I don't have a whole ton of space on my workbench, but that probably take up less space than an actual optical microscope.
So this is what Glenn's talking about right here.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Except mine's 8-inch. His is the 7-inch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the brand name on that?
Oh, this is a ANDON star, Andon star.
Andon Star. Okay.
If you just look that up on Amazon, you'll see a bunch of them. They all look exactly the same. This is, I think, a 7 or 7.5 inch. I think now they got 8.5 inch out there. They're anywhere from $40 up to about 139, maybe.
Yeah.
What's cool about this one? It's got a little slot in the back for a micro SD card for you to record your video and still shots.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's really slick, and it's powered by USB.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Really?
and it's I couldn't do the small work without it. Now I still use my binocular microscope, but this is really handy. To tell you the truth, man. It's
oh man, I couldn't do after working with yours. It's like I gotta have one.
Yeah, it's
and mine came in just the other day.
Yeah,
the other day, that's how I managed to burn my finger.
I just have one of those, magnifying lamps that I pull down, and I'm working underneath that thing. So,
yeah, Tom, I did a bunch of the surface mount amplifier chips when I got home as a test and experiment, and that's how I ended up burning my hand. But that scope really made it easy.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I'm thinking about putting this on a tracker. What do you think, man? I got that. That's the only thing I bought at Hamvention this year.
You're going to need a bigger balloon.
I'm thinking. Let's see. Let me click on. Yeah, here we go. I'm thinking this ought to handle 100 watts probably easy. Oh, it weighs about 10 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, that might put you over the FAA limit there.
Oh, gee, man. Yeah.
You're going to have to start stacking balloons together.
Yeah. Going to have to
get that much lift.
Going to have to. Well, hey, speaking of the balloon here, we're still after 45 days. We haven't lost any altitude. We're still flying.
That's truly amazing.
We're flying 51,000 feet, and when we got to Japan, we were on the last leg, man, to make that first lap. When we got to Japan, we turned and went down through the Philippines and Thailand, and we turned around, and we're back now down in the Gulf of Mexico. So, we have set a record for going around the world backwards right now. We're traveling east to west, and we've already traveled about 15,000 miles east to west right now. The prediction says it's going to keep going west. We only got about 8,000 more. If we can make it over to Japan, we will have gone around the world backwards, and everybody else is going forward. So I don't know, man. That's something we're going to have to kind of cheer for, Glenn.
Yeah.
But I bet you we make a turn and we come back up in the U.S.
Well, it's just meandering all over the place, because there's just no real steering currents up there.
Yeah.
But, it's a good thing because look how long the balloon has lasted, very little turbulence and storms and moisture condensation, so it's avoided all the pitfalls of the predecessors.
Well, I thought by now we would at least leak some hydrogen out of that balloon, but
seems like it's holding really well.
It appears to really be holding. Yeah. All right, so Glenn, we'll next week we can bring that video out and show them, hey, you're soldering there. But I tell you, folks, Glenn tried the solder paste, and I was taking. Some of the stuff that we solder here is so small. I take a toothpick and sharpen it with an X-Acto knife, and then you take one little dab of solder paste and try to put it on the circuits. I don't have a stencil for that. I could get a stencil made, but I think you'd waste more money on the stencil. You put that stencil on there and you wipe it down, man. You're going to use 500% more paste than what you put on the board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
anyway,
we used to hand build those things. We just had a tiny little syringe we used.
I try to use a toothpick and put just a little bit of solder paste down,
Yeah.
But Glenn says, let's try this, man. And he took like a spoonful of paste, man. I mean, there's 4 little leads close together, and he throws a big old slab of that solder paste on there. It's enough to do about 8,000 connectors to solder. And
Wasn't
I
that
was surprised. I was surprised when he put that heat on there, that heat gun on there, that solder paste just kind of soaked right up to each of those pins and cleared in between them. And
the flux does magical things with the wetting like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and the ones I did at home here, my paste came with a little itty bitty plastic scraper. So again, I put a glop on, and then I used the scraper, just smooth it all out and leave a super thin layer, and then I used the heat gun and it sucked those right down. Yeah. They all came out real good.
Well, you put so much paste on there. I was afraid it was going to be shorts all the way across every one of those. But
well, we were experimenting, so
it sucked it right up, man.
Just like you had to blow a balloon up, I had to try it that way just to see how that whole process worked.
Yeah, we used to use when we used to hand build a lot of the hybrids like that. We used a very small syringe and just squeezed it out with a syringe.
Well, and I've got a needle mine comes in a syringe. I usually buy it with a syringe, and it comes with a needle. But the output of the needle, and it's a small needle, but some of the stuff we're doing here, the output of the needle is like 3 or 4 tracks wide almost. I mean, I'm talking
it really
miniature.
Is. That's the way mine is. But I used a sewing needle for the ones I did here, and did the very small glopping. I did a combination of the plastic scraper and the sewing needle to lay the paste down, and they all came out real good.
Yeah, the flux does magical things. So
I guess a stencil might work well, to lay a stencil on there and just wipe it down with that. But
yeah, you just got to watch, because you'll be left with these tiny, micro solder balls, because the paste is really just tiny little solder balls is really suspended in a flux, and most of the stuff is going to wet and suck up to the leads, but you can be left with these tiny little micro solder balls that you got to clean off.
Yeah, Glenn had a few of those.
Yeah,
he noticed that. That's one of the things I think he talks about in the video we did. The little solder balls that just kind of rolled around on there,
because I did a video several years ago showing some drag soldering of a surface mount chip, and I didn't use paste. I didn't have paste. I just did it with like a solder blob. But the flux makes all the difference. You kind of put the flux on there. The flux really helps the solder wet, and surface tension just brings it to the things that it's wetted to. And you literally can just drag a soldering iron right along the edge of a surface mount chip, as long as you got that thing kind of flooded in flux, and just and you perfectly solder each lead. Go right by it.
All right. Well, we are. Let's see if I can figure out how to get back. Here we go. We made a lot of modifications to our board, our tracker board, and a lot of circuit changes and making it smaller. And we've got one in the works right now. This is the size of our tractor. We got one now in the works we're going to have made that's 1/2 this size. The whole board is about the size of that white GPS. The GPS goes on one side, and the microprocessor goes on the other side. And we have found that on this board here, the company is making the boards now, and we were having trouble over the years finding some company that could put these together for us. And we found a company that for about $12, they actually can assemble this for us, and that includes all the parts.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cheap.
That's impressive.
And I haven't got one in my hands yet. I've got some coming in, and I think their soldering is going to look a whole lot better than my soldering under the the magnifier, you know, when they run it through their system and their, what do you call it, their something flow and
the reflow system,
the reflow system and all that.
Yeah.
And
What did you use to design the board, Tom?
well, we've got a guy in Bosnia that is doing the layouts for us. We
Okay.
just give him the schematic and he can lay it right out, man.
Because that's the next aspect I have to work with.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, if I can have them made instead of having to build them, I'd rather have them made because let me tell you, hey, quite a number of times I'll get a solder bridge or something in here and then try
I'd pay $12 to have somebody build it for me.
Even I take the solder wick and try to get a solder bridge out of some of the stuff, it don't want to come out. This little bitty stuff, especially. Oh man, you know.
Speaking of which, I've got that dead board. Apparently, I left one of my chips and I took your GPS board in trade, or your tracker board in trade. So I've got that.
Okay.
That bad tracker board. I'll get back to you.
Okay. Well, I got your chip here. I've got your name on it. And I got it taped to a piece of paper.
He's holding it hostage.
Yeah, what are you going to do with that chip? It doesn't fit anything.
I've got the carriers to fit it now.
Oh, do you? Okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah, that was the SI 4707 weather radio chip. It's actually a weather radio on a little 3x3 millimeter. Was it QFN package?
Yeah, yeah.
Leadless type package, and the carriers said that the carriers that I had, the SmartWorks board, said they do 3 and 4 millimeter, but we looked and it just didn't seem right.
It wasn't big enough.
The ones I have now definitely are the right size.
All right, let me do this. Let me do this. Look at there, bam! Look at there. Pardon the wrinkles in my green screen back here. Hey guys, I want to talk to you about this just real quick, man. We got Huntsville coming up, Huntsville Hamfest coming up. We're going to be doing a webcast for Huntsville 3 solid days. We'll be streaming Setup Day, which is Friday, the 19th of August. And you never know who's going to walk by. On Setup Day, you'll see people driving their vehicles inside the building. You'll see people setting up. There'll be people there, possibly, you know, like Bob Heil, Gordo, different people you might know. They'll come by and get on the camera. So no telling who you're going to see on Setup Day. So we'll be probably one of the first ones in to set up that morning, probably around 9 or 10 o'clock. And we'll start streaming from that point forward. We'll stream all day Saturday and we'll stream Sunday. Now, we've got a lot of prizes. If you go to w5kub.com, click on prizes in the menu, you'll see some of the prizes. We hadn't got them all loaded yet, but that's the ones I know about right now. And we'll be giving those away to anybody that Hambot picks their name. If Hambot picks your name, you win those prizes. Now, Huntsville, although it's smaller and we have different arrangements with them, and we really love Huntsville, it's going to cost us $1,500 to stream that Hamfest for those 3 days. So what we did, and this has worked out well for us in the past, we're setting aside this one prize. This is a Comet CA 500 Mark II antenna analyzer. We're setting this aside, and if you'll donate $5 to W5KUB to help us cover the expense, we're going to put your name in a hat for this CAA 500. This thing is all metal. It feels actually like I'm holding a brick right now. It's about the size of a brick. So you got your display down here that you can, you can do scans and sweeps, and it shows all the different information. You got your cross needles up here, and it goes up to 500 megahertz. So, hey, again, $5 donation, you get your name in a hat once. $10 get your name in a hat twice. $15 get your name in a hat 3 times. And Glenn helped me with the math last time, but for $1,000, we're going to put your name in here. Well, you're supposed to get 200 tickets in the hat. Now, that's going to fill the hat up. We might even throw an extra 5 in there. So $1,000 will get you 200 tickets. But anyway, you can click on, it's on our prize page. We show this at the top of the prize page on w5kub.com. You can just click here if you'd like to donate. Let me tell you, the Huntsville Hamfest, it's a smaller Hamfest, we don't have near as many people that watch this as we do the Dayton Hamvention. And I can tell you right now, the odds of someone picking this up, the odds are really high right now because, there's not that many people that have thrown their name, into the hat. But we're doing okay. If you can help support us, we'd appreciate it. If you can't, don't worry about it. We've still got 30 or 40 free prizes that we're going to give out. You might win. Again, all you got to do is just answer if Hambot calls your name. Out of the 40 prizes that I have right now, probably 35 of them are worldwide. That means anybody in international can win those prizes. There may be 5 prizes out of 40 that are U.S. shipment only. Now, if you're international and you have a U.S. address, like a lot of Canadians have U.S. address, we can ship it there, and then it's up to you to figure out how to get it, across the border. You can probably put it in the back of a truck or, I don't know. I won't go any further. So anyway, hey, that's the deal, and I'm sticking to it, man, and we're going to have fun there. Again, we don't sell anything at the Hamfest. It's going to be strictly work for you guys. We're going to try to do walk-arounds at least every half hour or hour. If I can get some volunteers, and hey, I see, who is it? I see Ed in here. He helped me a lot last year. I bet you Ed helps me this year. And if we can get some other helpers out there, let me tell you, all I have to do is send you a link to your phone. You click on that link, and your phone becomes a camera and microphone. And just like I'm bringing Glenn and Alan in here, we'll see how to turn it on. Just like I'm bringing them in, that's a camera shot. And you can be out interviewing somebody in the flea market, and you'll be on here, and we can even go full screen with you, as you're streaming, and it's going to be pretty good. And actually, I think we'd have two-way contact. I could actually talk to you from my booth to your streaming camera. So this is going to be exciting.
If Tom can get enough help, you guys can also pretty much see, a live delayed broadcast of my forum, and then Bill Brown's balloon forum is right after mine.
That's true. And that's Earl. I meant to say Earl. I didn't mean to say Ed, but that's Earl. WA4KBT. Happy to help. What? Happy to help last year. Wait a minute. I'm talking this year, guys. So anyway, no, hey, Earl will probably, if he's there, I'm sure he'll help. But hey, if somebody goes to Glenn's forum, if you would, we need you to at least record it or stream it back to our booth, and we'll get that on. We'll try to stream Bill's launch outside. So Earl says, he'll be there this year too. So I'm pumped up, man. I'm excited about it, and we're gonna have a good time there. And even though we're gonna run this more compact little broadcast software here, I think it's going to do a better job for us overall. The other software that we run is really expensive. It's anywhere from $500 to $1,000. It's more like a TV studio. It'll do 1 million things, but you need 5 TV engineers to work it. Whereas this one is pretty simple, man. Pretty simple.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna have to jump out. I just got a note from my wife. The dog is sitting by the back door with her legs crossed.
All right.
So I gotta go take the dog for a walk.
Well, very good, man. Hey, thanks for being with us tonight, and thanks a lot for your help with the spectrum analyzer.
All right, very good. We'll
All
see
right,
you guys later on.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, Glenn, looks like it's going to be just me and you for the next few minutes.
Hey, the dog made it an extra 40 minutes tonight. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, let me see if I can turn my green screen on. Now, I don't know if I can do it or not, but I'm going to try it. And again, this app I'm using, and again, this app is it's on the cloud. This thing is not running in my house. I'm on a browser only. And Glenn, like normal, Glenn's signal would come in on Zoom, and I would rebroadcast it here. Or Alan would come in, I'd rebroadcast it. But Alan and Glenn tonight, they're coming directly to you from the cloud. They're not coming to my location here. So if you watched us when I was in North Carolina a couple weeks ago, I was on DSL and my picture was really pixelated, but Glenn was totally clear, man. So that's what I like about it. You know, it's got the basics. It's got the basics, and it's almost what we need. Let's see. Let me see if I can get the green screen on here. Let me see.
It actually looks like it would be supported on my system, and I'm running Windows 7 on this guy, so I generally can't. Under Zoom, I can't use the green screen stuff.
Okay. All right, now I just turned the green screen on. Let's see. Green screen. I've got it on green. All right, now let me get a picture. All right, here's a picture. Now, I see the green screen didn't come on. Let's see. I think there's an adjustment for it somehow right here. Let's see.
There you go.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at there, man. How you like that?
There's your green screen. That
Yeah,
looks
you
pretty
like
good.
it? You like it?
Yeah.
Look at there, man. We got our green screen working here, man. We got our green screen. What is that? What is that right there? I have no idea what that is.
It's a library.
It looks like a library.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is. I don't know what that is.
Conference room.
I can be a lot of places.
Coffee room.
Let's see what we got here. Well, that's kind of cool. Oh, here's where I like to be right here, man.
There you go.
I like to be right there.
Yeah, a nice tropical breeze would be about nice, because that's the other thing. With the 100-degree heat, we've had no breeze at all.
Feels good. Let me go back just to our regular. There we go, man. I like that. You know, hey, the green screen does work.
Yeah, like Earl says, it's a little bit pixely around the edges.
Yeah, let me see. I see a little at the top up here. I see. Oh, you know what? That's the lights. You see, it's brighter at the top.
Yeah.
Up here. I've got studio lights turned on. I could probably adjust the lights.
The pixelation on your arms and shirt.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what
I didn't
this
say
does.
under your arms. I said on your arms and shirt.
There you go, right there. The Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man, yeah.
Hey, what was that? 60 show, The Invisible Man? All right. Let's see. Let's see what we can do here. Come on.
That's actually almost good if you got rid of the rest of the pixelation. I mean, it's hardly noticeable, but you can see it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's a little stretched from side to side. The picture back there.
Yeah, your spectrum analyzer and the whatever that is next, even the bird watt meter looks stretched.
I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing where your plane is sitting on, it looks stretched. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, so it does look a little bit stretched, but you'd have to look for it to see it.
Well, I upgraded my equipment since you were here. That's the wider model.
Yeah.
That's the wider model. Let's see. Starting coverage. All right. Well, hey, cool. Okay. Cool.
Yep, I mean, it does a good job.
And look, I can move our Roundtable little thing up to the top up there.
Yeah.
See? Move it back down here.
I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, just, got to work a few more things out, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Let's see what this does. Hey guys, I got a video of Glenn here. Watch this.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
All right. Well, that's cool. The way the video goes in and out and brings me right back, man.
One thing on my end, though, is when you play the video, the audio comes through my speakers and not through my headset, like when you unmute me. Yeah.
The audio came through your speakers and not your headset.
When you played the video, the audio comes through my speakers and my microphone gets muted and I don't hear anything in my headset. But then when the video finishes, I get unmuted automatically and then the audio's back in my headset.
Well, so you're telling me when I played that video, it came out your speakers?
Correct.
How in the world can it switch from your headset to your speakers?
You tell me, because I don't have a setting for that.
Well, right here. Ding, 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 ding. I'm taking control of your computer.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does that.
Yeah. Well, as
Don't know
long
how
as
it
it
does
doesn't control the horizontal and vertical, I won't get
I'm
too
controlling
worried.
the horizontal and vertical here, believe me.
Let me tell you
hey,
what.
Hey,
that-
even
Yeah, see? You should be
All
able to
right,
hear my audio.
I don't know, but hey, even Hambot likes this little app right here.
Oh,
This
it's
thing
good.
has some possibility. It really does. I really hate chunking out though that other webcaster that I
Oh,
use.
You may run into something that this doesn't do, but welcome to
This will do a
technology.
lot.
Stuff
This
gets
doesn't do a lot.
obsoleted very quick. I mean, I've been preparing the new Arduino book, and I'm finding that a bunch of the parts that I used in that first book are obsolete, no longer available, and I've had to hunt for replacements.
Yeah,
So technology moves quickly.
yeah. Well, this is a relatively new app. They just I just found it last year and actually helped them to put some features in that I saw were missing, and they were pretty good about doing it. And then I didn't use it for about a year, and now I'm back on it again. And hey, it served its purpose tonight. It got us on the air tonight, where our other thing crapped out here with the update.
Yeah,
So
no, I
I'm
mean it's
happy.
good. I have no problems with it. It gives me more flexibility in moving windows around and stuff. So no, it's been
Yeah,
fine for
the
me.
only problem, and I can test more, but this was a fact before, is if you try to share a video, your audio would not come through. So, and I brought that up to them. I don't think they ever fixed it. I think they talked like they couldn't do it. But Zoom does that. You share a video on Zoom, and you can share audio. So
Yeah.
I'll look at that again and communicate with them. I haven't talked to them in about a year. Wonder how easy it is to switch cameras. Let me see if I can switch a camera here. Let's see. I'm probably going to lose you here. Let's see. Let's see. What happens if I do this right here?
Gonna put me back in the twilight zone.
Wait a minute. What happened here? Let me see. Okay.
I'm still here.
So, yeah. Well, I saw the camera switch, but it only lasted about half a second. Let's see.
I didn't see
Video.
anything on my feed.
Let's see. Yeah. Pro. Let's see.
Did you put the name labels up there, or does it do that automatically?
You do it when you log in there with your name.
Oh, okay. Because I just clicked the
you-
link, but I guess my name is saved in the cache.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, did you see that come in?
Just for a half a second.
Yeah. That's a bit. Yeah. I just thought, Hey, look. Now I'm backwards. Now I'm forward.
There you go.
All right. Okay. All right. Hey, if you've been listening out there on radio, on WBCQ shortwave 7490, you've been listening to Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's ham radio. You wondered what amateur radio is? Ham radio. And we are glad you joined with us. And you can join us on a live video show. Just tune in on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to w5kub.com and just click on the yellow button up there. It says video and chat, and you being here with us tonight.
Yeah, Mark P is wanting to know, what app is this?
All right, Mark, this app is called Melon App, MELON, Melon app. And if you do get it, I want credit, so I get $10 knocked off my, and right now I'm paying a subscription for this at $12 a month. So I've been paying that for the last 12 months and haven't even used it, but I felt like it might be worth having. And I think it's going to do a pretty good job. So I'm going to start playing with it a little bit more. I'll figure out how to tie the, let's see. Let me think about this. I could tie the phone lines into it. I can get audio in and out. But I won't be able to bring in your video. Like on, I bring everybody in on Zoom on video, and I can see that Zoom call, and I can connect to it, and I can bring it video over, but I can't do it with this program.
You mean I couldn't share a video?
You can share a video, yeah. But like, okay. If I wanted to open this up to everybody out there, open the Zoom lines up, I don't have any way to bring your video into this. Now, I could bring your audio in and out. I could do that.
No, wait a minute. If they were just sent the same link I was, couldn't they get in?
They could, but I can only have 6 people.
Ah, okay.
On that, so that's the limitation there. Yeah, refer a friend, get $10 right here. Mark P, tell me, do you want me to refer them to you? And if so, put it in the chat room and I'll refer you. They do have a free version. I think you can have 2 or 3 camera shots or people, and it's free. Or if you want to go up to 6, then it's like $12 a month. All right, man, we got about 8 minutes till sign off on shortwave, and just want to apologize to everybody tonight, man. We had a Windows update that just completely destroyed everything in our broadcasting system earlier. It was gonna take me probably an hour to get all the different pieces back on and working, and I just didn't have time. So that's the reason we went with this tonight. So there is a free version of it. It's limited to 2 or 3 people. The paid version, you can get up to 6 people, I think. I think the free version may put the Melon app watermark on your page, maybe. There's a few little restrictions to it. I can't load videos here on a separate PC and play those like I could with my other system, because I can't bring video in from a different system here. I can upload videos to this app, and they go on the cloud, but they have to be under 150 megs. But I can load videos up there, and they'll work. For instance, here's our astronaut friend Doug Wheelock. Here, listen, he's going to give us a promo here. Listen to this.
My name is Doug Wheelock. In my spare time on the space station, I stay connected to planet Earth.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Doug Wheelock. In my spare time on the space station, I stay connected to planet Earth through the ham radio. Through amateur radio, I tune into W5KUB. Hi, I'm Doug Wheelock, and in my spare time on the space station, I stay connected to planet Earth by listening to amateur radio. I tune into. Why do I say turn into? Hi, I'm Doug Wheelock. In my spare time on the space station,
Did you mess up again?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Doug Wheelock. In my spare time on the space station, I stay connected to the planet by tuning in to W5KUB.com.
Well, you would think an astronaut could get it right.
For a simple 15-second message.
Yeah.
Sounds like something I'd do.
How hard is it, man? I mean, here he is up there steering the International Space Station around, and afterburners and blasting, the jets on the side, and missing comets and stuff. But when you ask him to make a commercial, he has trouble, man. I mean, I guess his intelligence level is just so much higher than where we are. That's the
Yeah.
problem, man.
Yeah. Well, they don't use words.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, I mean that sounds like something I would do. I don't think I could memorize a 15-second speech.
Look, hey, I had this written. I had cue cards written and hanging on the bottom of the camera. All he had to do was read them. You know.
Well, it's just that one word seems like really kept catching him, and that was turning instead of tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that just shows how old school he is. It's from back in the day where we actually had to get up and turn the channel knob on the TV.
Yeah.
We didn't have these remote controls.
Yeah. Hey, remote control. I grew up with my uncle in a TV shop, and so I've been around just about every TV make and model since the 50s. But the very first remote, and some people might remember this in the chat room. The very first remote was not an RF or an IF, infrared. It had a little clacker in there, and it actually hit a piece of metal like a what do you call it, like a wind chime. The clicker, you'd mash it down and you'd feel it click, and it hit that little bar and it go ding, or you hit the other one and go dong. And the TV was, set up to hear those two tones, and that's the first remote control I think Zenith came out with. And then, and now they're so complicated, it's almost impossible to figure out how to work all the buttons on one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw something while we're talking about this, man. I saw something interesting. Who was smarter? Was a generation from 50 years ago smarter than a generation today? Now, here's something to think about. So, back in the 1960s, your automobile manual that you get with your car told you how to adjust the lifters. Okay. Now, the book that comes with cars now tell you don't drink the acid out of the batteries.
Right.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that was kind of something funny today. One of the folks at work apparently thought they had a bad battery, and of course, they had to get network support involved. And I went out there to help, and hooked up the jumper cables, no effect. Pulled my spare battery that I have in my car because I've been stuck in the middle of nowhere when a battery dies, and that didn't help. And so we got to looking, and I dug out my voltmeter that I always carry in the car. Battery was fine. So I'm like, what's going on? I went over to the little relay box where all the fuses and relays are in, and opened it up and wiggled and reseated all the relays, just to maybe knock off some tarnish or whatever. Car started right up.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't even stop to think to go to that box and try to do something.
Yeah, that's true. So look, man, why do you carry a big old heavy battery? Why don't you buy you one of those little things with the handle on it? The jumper. That little battery.
Here's the deal, and this happened to me twice in my old car. And it wasn't the car; it was the batteries themselves. Modern batteries today, back in the old days, if a battery died, you could usually jump it off long enough to get you home. It would charge,
right.
It would just maintain enough to get you home as long as the engine didn't stall. Well, modern batteries today, at least the two that died on me, literally when they die, they're dead. They will not hold the charge, nothing. And so, I mean, if you even stop at a stop sign and the alternator, winds down to idle, it'll die. Boom. And that happened to me twice. So as part of that, I always carry a spare battery, because you got to remember, I was driving in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi for all those years. And if my battery were to die way down there,
well,
it'd be hours for a AAA to come find
I understand a battery is cheaper than a Glock.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah.
But I have a battery, voltmeter, and tools and assorted things in the car for quick fixes. I got
Well,
AAA.
let
if
me
it's
ask
something
you, what
major.
kind of voltmeter do you have in your car? Would it be a Harbor Freight
Oh, you
voltmeter?
betcha.
Yeah,
It's
I
one
got.
of them little itty bitty red ones that does every function known to man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
got a
got a
bunch of
little
those.
socket in there to test your transistors and tells you whether it's NPN or PNP.
We need to give away some more of those. I got about 15 of those left. I used to go to Harbor Freight every week when they would give them away free. You know, you had to buy something and you get that free meter. You know,
Oh yeah,
I'd buy a 25-cent light bulb or something, you know, and get my free meter. And I think I had about 35 or 40 meters at one time. I gave a talk over in Tuckasegee, North Carolina, to a ham club a year or two ago, and they had about 20 people there, and I gave every one of them a meter. And
yeah,
back there in the mountains, most of them never had a meter. But
yep.
hey, that little Harbor Freight meter, it's fairly accurate. Plus,
It's
plus
accurate.
you don't
It's
care if it
light.
gets beat around. You know.
No, I mean this was I just keep in the back compartment in my back of the Jeep and whipped it out there, and I mean it solved it. It saved the whole day because I'm like, there's nothing wrong with this battery.
Yeah.
And that's when it came down to, well, it's got to be either the computer or the ignition. It sounded like the solenoid just wasn't
Yeah. Well,
tripping.
that fuse may have been into the solenoid circuit or something.
So I
Not
mean,
letting it.
well, inside that little fuse and electronics box there, you've got a whole bunch of those little itty bitty fuses, but you also have a handful of tiny relays.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so,
That's
I
true.
mean, I just did the old, tap them and wiggle them, and you know, maybe they were stuck or jammed, or uh, there was tarnish on the contacts. Because you got to remember, it's 100 degrees out there, so it'd be real easy for a relay
Yeah,
to stick.
yeah.
And more than likely, that's what I did is I unstuck a relay.
Well, I can understand why car repairs are so expensive now. You've got to almost have a doctorate degree to,
Oh yeah,
to work on. I mean,
that's about as
hey,
far as
hey,
I go.
I remember, hey, our '57 Chevy, man, you could kind of lay on a seat and put your head up in under the dash, and you could trace a wire out or you could unplug the antenna from the radio or whatever. You know, there ain't no way now to get under there.
I had a 1970 Mustang that had the straight inline six cylinder, and you could literally climb in next to that engine and do darn near everything you needed. There was just that much room under the hood.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, good luck. There's not a place you can stick your finger through.
man.
Yeah, it's
Well, you know what? We are past our cutoff time.
oh
So
wow.
I want to thank everybody for sticking in here. Looks like the app is telling me we still have 45 people in the chat room now, or no, 45 people watching. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's right, but that's what the app's saying. So looks like a lot of people might have stuck with us tonight. I hope that well, we started a few minutes late, maybe 10 minutes late. I hope that the new app that we ran tonight was satisfactory. I think from what I'm seeing here, it looks pretty good. I hope you guys saw it. And
It does look
you know,
good.
I may move to this thing. I may move to this and try to just redo the whole studio and get a lot of this junk unhooked. Because right now we've got one, two, three, we got four computers networked where they all talk with each other. I got 4 keyboards. I got 4 mouses or mice. I've got a 16 channel mixer over here, audio compressor. We got a lot of stuff hooked up here. Hey, the show's over, but I want to show you something, man. I want to show you something. All right. See if I can do this.
Is that for signaling planes in flight to land in your backyard?
Let me show you if I can do this. Hey, it actually came on. It came on.
Yeah.
It came on. I have not been able to get this thing to turn on. I've been working on it for like all day. And let me tell you something. It's a very powerful light, and you can adjust this in here, slide it in or out, for the beam. Very powerful, but you think, okay, hey, battery capacity, this sucker is great. You know, it's good and heavy. But I want to show you something.
Just triple A's. Oh my word! No.
You got to take a truck. You got to take a truck down to Costco to get batteries for the sucker. Okay.
No kidding. What is that? 12 double A's?
Yeah, it's got 12 double A's in it. Now I want to show you something else. The way this thing's designed. You see the end of this? Look at the contacts.
Oh,
you see that?
No.
You see that contact here? Now look at the contact here. So you see the center. The center fits the center, but the outer two contacts fits that outer circle. Now watch this. The same thing.
So are they running
here.
all of those in series?
You're not gonna be able to see it, but it's the same thing in here. You got the dot in the center with the circle around it. Now, there was something wrong with these. I changed batteries that didn't fix it, so I started troubleshooting and following the voltage. You know, battery after battery after battery, and it was real flaky. Now, here's the thing about this. You can put these batteries. I don't know if a Chinese guy or a Japanese guy designed this, but you can put that battery in that way or you can put it in that way. It don't make any difference. If you put it in that way, that's the center, that's the plus, and these two outside ones, you know, go on that ring. They go in that ring there that's inside where the bulb is, and they short together. So these two are like minus, and that's the plus. Now on this end, you got 3 on this end. But the two outside ones, let's see, how does this work? I think 2 outside ones are together. Yeah, the 2 outside ones are together, and the center one is something else. Now, so this is the switch right here. When I press the switch, that just shorts out between those 2 rings. Okay. So when that's on there, when these make contact, in other words, if I short an outer post to the inner post, that turns the batteries on and gives me an output here on the center post, and then these 2 outside ones are minus. Now, they got this thing built where if I turn it over backwards and put it in there, it still works the same way. The switch here will key this one, and this one works the lights. I mean, this is the center is the plus, and these 2 are the minus. Now, for about 3 hours, I couldn't even get the light to come on. And I put new batteries in it. I checked the voltages. I had to draw out a schematic on how this sucker works, because going through the batteries, you got this ring here on each end that shorts out the outer 2 here and here, and then you got that center, which is either positive or something else down here, and the switch goes across these. So I drew me out a diagram, and I pretty much understand how it works. I was getting it where it would turn the light barely on earlier. It was like it wasn't getting any current. And in measuring voltage through here, I was getting to places where I had almost no voltage. And these little springs, I took all the batteries out. I took a little file. I polished up the end of the springs where they make good contact. You know, I cleaned all the contacts. And then when I would turn it on, it would just barely come on, like it couldn't get enough current. Now, these are brand new batteries. So my next thing is there must be a really bad connection somewhere inside this thing. If once the current comes on, it just, you know, causes an area where it doesn't go through. So there's some little bitty screws in the ends here and on both ends and the sides. I guess I'm gonna take this thing apart. Something in there is barely making connection somewhere. Now, if I put this thing back in, it might not even come on now. It's back in. Oh, yeah, it's working perfect now. I mean, it's working. This is the first time it's worked all day. Even when I brought it over to the show tonight, it wasn't working. It's working.
Interesting.
It's working. Now, this light will shine, you know, like 3 football fields long, man. But I don't like the fact it's got AA batteries in it.
That's not going to give you any battery life at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Why didn't they just use 4D cells? But I guess they're using that to get like 18 volts out of the
Yeah,
thing.
there's about there. I think there's about 18 volts, and there's a great big LED right there.
Yeah, that's why they're using 18 volts instead of.
Now it does make a good weapon. This sucker's heavy, and it's all steel construction. So if the battery goes dead, you can still hit people with it.
So is a battery with nothing but D cells in it.
Yeah, but that would only give me about what, 1, 2. I don't know.
It'd only give you 3.
You
so
might
you get
only
4
get 3 in there. You might get 4 in there. I don't know. But let's see.
Who is it?
2.
One of the big flashlight makers makes like an 8 D cell battery.
Yeah.
And looks like a club.
Well, so hey, it's working now. I don't, now you know what I can do? I can crawl under the kitchen sink now and work on my garbage disposal. I've got a garbage disposal that just it doesn't seem like it's draining good. And I've been working on that thing the last 2 days. So I had to take about 4 hours off and work on my light. And tomorrow I'll get under there. I may have to pull my garbage disposal off. Anyway, hey, everybody, thank you. We've dropped down to 39 viewers right there, and we're talking about garbage disposals, and we're starting to lose people now. We've got 39
That's it.
on there.
Chris called it. It's a Maglite flashlight.
Yeah, I guess.
But
yeah,
I need to get out of here myself. I want popcorn or something like that.
I do too. I think I can eat some popcorn tonight. Hey, Glenn, man, good to see you again tonight. And let's see, how do I work this? I go there, and if I go there, that don't work. I go there. I'm trying to figure out I know how to do it. I got to press. I've just lost it right now. I don't know how this works now. Let's see. All right. It's interesting. Showing screen. Okay, there we are.
Yep.
There you are. And 2, 3. There we go. All right. Okay. Hey, good night, everybody. Thanks for watching tonight. And hey, we'll see you next week. And I might play around with this some this week and see if I can figure out how to make it work a little better. But I kind of like it. Real simple.
Looks cool.
We're gonna go
I'm
gonna
gonna have to clean up more of my room though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad. You can see.
Well, wait a minute. Oh, no.
You can see the FT101 is now under piles of paper. So you can see
now
how
I can't.
bad.
See, now I can't see it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it just kind of trims it.
Yeah.
As part. Well, it zooms in and trims, but when you take the raw native shot that's coming out of my camera, you get to see the whole side of this office. But yeah, I mean, my room is getting messy when the 101 that I just bought at Dayton is now buried under paper and stuff.
Oh man. All right.
It's going to come to the surface here real soon, but man, I've got a December deadline on the book, and that's the #1 priority.
Okay. Good night. We'll see you. Good night, everybody.
Next week.
We'll see you. Good night.